These are all of my favorite iOS apps that I use on a regular basis, organized in different categories. And the first one is Beeper, which brings together all of your texts from every service you have, like WhatsApp, Slack, Twitter, or even Instagram, all into one centralized location. It's also available on every platform, so everything is synced across all of your devices. And best of all, it's free. There is, however, a waitlist for this app, but comment down below if you want an invite and I'll give out as many as I can. Alright, so I do my very best not to carry my wallet around. I use Apple Pay and I keep everything digital. But some services like gym memberships, loyalty cards, or health insurance still need a physical card to scan the barcode. And to get around that, I use this app called Pass to You, which lets me add any physical card into my Apple Wallet, and that way I can scan anything easily with my phone and leave all of those cards at home. Free and very useful. Alright, so you know when you're waiting for a delivery and every time you want to track it, you need to find the tracking number in your email and track it in their website? Well, there's a free app that solves this and it's called Parcel. All you have to do is give it the tracking number once, and then every time you want to track it, you just open up the app. And there's also an Amazon integration which lets Parcel automatically track your Amazon deliveries. All you gotta do is log in with your Amazon account, and the next time you place an order, it automatically starts tracking it. The free option gives you access to 3 concurrent deliveries, and that's plenty for me. Another essential is a password manager, and my choice here is 1Password. And there's not much else to say, I've used it for years and it's always worked great. Alright, so the first utility is going to be a little controversial. It's called Paste. And the way it works is that anything I copy, like a picture or text or really anything on either my phone or my Mac, I can then open up Paste and see everything there. It's also worth noting that it does not copy sensitive information like passwords, and you can even take it a step further and have Paste ignore certain apps. But that's just the beginning, because then you can organize all that you save into different boards. So for me, I have a few boards for stuff I constantly use for easy access. And the best part is that you can access all of your items straight from the keyboard. You just press the globe icon and choose Paste as your keyboard, and you can then paste everything from there. The way I look at Paste is that it's really something you use on your Mac that you can then access on your phone. And even though I really like this app, I only recommend it if you already subscribe to Setapp. And for those that aren't aware, Setapp is basically Netflix but for apps. You pay a monthly fee and you get access to over 200 paid apps. Most of them are Mac apps, but they also have plenty of iOS apps as well. This is not sponsored or anything, I just wanted to point that out, as Paste and a couple of other apps I'll mention here can also be found on Setapp. If you're interested, I did leave a link in the description that gets you 30 days of free trial instead of 7. Otherwise, I strongly recommend PastePal as an alternative, which is a reasonable one-time purchase as opposed to $30 a year, which, let's be honest, is nothing short of absurd for a clipboard manager. Another app that's really useful and a lot of people use on the Mac but forget that it's also on iOS is Language Tool, which is a free grammar and spell checker. It has a great keyboard implementation, so every time I'm done writing an email on my phone, I access Language Tool via the keyboard and go through all of the suggestions. I much prefer this to Grammarly as it supports multiple languages, and as for Apple's built-in grammar checker, that one only spots obvious mistakes, only works in the Apple ecosystem, and only in a few apps. Alright, so next up we have Tracked, which serves as a watch list for what shows or movies I want to watch, but most importantly as a way to keep track of when new episodes of my shows come out. It's free and it has a lot of features, but personally all I use it for is for this widget here that tells me when the next episode comes out for the shows I follow. Then we have my browser of choice, which is Arc. I've been using Arc on my Mac ever since it came out, and they just released the mobile version, and there's a few things that set it apart. The first is that it's very lightweight and fast. It blocks ads, trackers, and even those annoying cookie banners. Every single time I open a browser on my phone is to search something, so it's nice that when you open up Arc, it's already ready to start typing. Personally, I don't even use the AI features, but they're actually the biggest reason people like it. They have a browse for you option that makes a web page full of stuff related to your query. I'll be the first to admit though that Arc is still limited compared to other browsers on iOS, primarily because it doesn't yet sync with Arc on the desktop, but this is something they're working on, so I expect it to be there soon. And lastly, there's Actions, which is a free tool that adds a ton of functionality to the Shortcuts app. I'm actually working on a video where I'll go over my favorite shortcuts, so subscribe if you want to see it. Alright, on to productivity, and let's start with email. A few months ago, Setapp introduced Spark to their catalog, and because I already pay for Setapp and a lot of people seem to like it, I thought I'd give it a try. But it turns out I still prefer the seamless integration of just the stock mail app. For me, it's one of the most underappreciated apps in the entire Apple ecosystem. My task manager of choice has been the same for probably over a decade at this point, and that is Todoist. I've tried a bunch and I don't think anything comes close to it. The natural language processing is excellent and the free version has more features than many of the paid Todoist apps. I made a full video on Todoist that you can check right here. My calendar of choice continues to be fantastical. I hate that it's a subscription, but it has everything I want in a calendar, so I reluctantly pay the cost. The best feature is by far the natural language processing, but it also integrates with Zoom, has a scheduling feature similar to Calendly, and a bunch of nice cool features like the ability to blur out past events on the calendar. Next we have Readwise, which is an indispensable app for me because it solves two huge problems. If you're anything like me, when you highlight something on Kindle or bookmark a tweet or save something you saw online that was insightful, you want an easy way to capture it. But also, and perhaps most importantly, an easy way to retain what you highlighted so you can grow your knowledge over time. And Readwise solves both of these problems. Readwise solves the capture problem because it acts as a bridge to all of your services like Twitter or Kindle. So every time you highlight something on Kindle or bookmark a tweet, it gets saved to Readwise and you can then also add export locations like Obsidian or Notion. But then if you just send all those highlights to Obsidian or Notion and never see them again, you'll never remember what you read. And this is the second big problem that Readwise solves, because it will email you a certain amount of random highlights that you took for you to actively recall them, and you can then customize how many highlights you want Readwise to send and how often. Readwise offers a 30-day free trial, but if you use the link that I left in the description, you get an extra 30 days on top of that. The next app is basically Pocket or Instapaper on steroids. It's called Readwise Reader, and you also get it when you sign up for Readwise. Reader is where I get all my newsletters, RSS feeds, and also where I save every article or Twitter thread that I want to read later. I do this because not only is the UI so much better in Reader, but if there's something that I want to save, I can just highlight it and it will automatically get synced to Readwise. And you can use the email address that Readwise gives you to subscribe to other people's newsletters. I do this for every newsletter that I sign up for, and I'm not alone in this. If I pull up my subscribers to my newsletter, there are hundreds of you using a Readwise email to get it in your inbox. You can even watch YouTube videos on Reader. It'll pull the transcript and everything you highlight will also sync with Readwise. Yeah, this is a great app. Not a day goes by that I don't open up Reader. And if you want to give Readwise a try, again, the link is in the description. That gets you double the trial period. I've been learning French again as of last year, and an app that has really helped me with it, and I get it that everyone knows it and it's a bit of a meme, is Duolingo. But I think a lot of people misunderstand the point of apps like Duolingo and assume they can eventually be fluent just by using them, which is simply not true. I learned French with a tutor that I found on italki, and italki is just a website that connects you to different tutors, and I use Duolingo simply as a way to supplement that. I really like it, and it's so well designed that it instantly became a part of my routine. Alright, so as many of you rightfully pointed out in my videos, I speak too fast, and I 100% agree. And I understand the irony that I'm probably doing it right now. I'm just not as comfortable on camera as I'd like to be, but this year, I'm trying to get better at it with the use of the next app, Speako. I saw some YouTubers recommending it and I thought I'd give it a try, and I'm really liking it. It has lessons to go through and you can practice using their exercises. But what sets it apart is that it listens to what you're saying and gives you feedback as well as tips to improve. It also has some really high quality video courses that I plan on watching. It's only been a month, but so far I'm really enjoying it. And if you're someone that performs any kind of public speaking or you just want to get better at it, I think you'll like it as well. Another app I use for learning is the sponsor of today's video, Brilliant.org. Brilliant is a hands-on interactive learning platform and is the best way to learn math, data science, and computer science interactively. It doesn't matter whether you're a STEM graduate or you're just starting out, as Brilliant tailors the content to fit your needs and lets you learn through it at your own pace. Brilliant's approach is super engaging, so important and difficult concepts are broken down into understandable bite-sized lessons. That's what makes STEM topics actually stick. Like in their How Technology Works course, where you can learn the algorithms that run today's world and how computer memory and GPSs work. And this is just one of the many courses that Brilliant adds every single month. There's always something new to learn. To try everything Brilliant has to offer free for a full 30 days, visit brilliant.org/fromsergio, and the first 200 people that sign up will get 20% off Brilliant's annual premium subscription. And a big thank you to Brilliant for sponsoring today's video. So I've been getting into hiking lately, and if you're a hiker, you know where I'm going with this, and that is AllTrails. This is a great free app that tells you all the trails around you. You can then see how difficult they are, how long they're gonna take, and even what they look like. And then once you're on the trail, you can use it as your navigation tool and see where you are and how long you have left. And when you're done, you can see your stats about the hike. The paid version opens up some cool features like offline maps, wrong turn alerts, and an Apple Watch integration. For now I'm using the free version, but I might upgrade if I can actually make a habit out of it. Alright, so for the longest time, every time I worked out, I used to write down everything I did in the gym, and I would then add what I did that day to my calendar. It took me far too long to jump on a gym tracker, but I'm really glad I did, and I chose Heavy. And the two main competitors here are Heavy and Strong, and after having tried both, the choice was actually really easy, as the Apple Watch implementation is much better on Heavy, and the team at Heavy seem to be much more invested in the app and are constantly adding new features. It also has a social media component to it, and I use it sometimes to find new exercises. On top of all of that, it's also cheaper than Strong, so it was honestly a no-brainer. Then we have Insight Timer, and there's not much to say here, just a free meditation app that I've been using for many years. So I've tried like 8 different personal finance apps, and honestly, I don't think there's a single great option out there, but in the end, I settled with Copilot. I use it primarily as a way to keep track of my credit card utilization and my investments, but also as a way to see how much I spend on each category in each month and to keep track of my subscriptions. Copilot does have some issues and they increased the price last year, so I can't in good conscience recommend it. But I can recommend the other app in this category, which is a Word Wallet. If you're as deep into the miles and points game as I am, then this one is a must. The app tracks all of your credit card, airline, and hotel points. The app's design leaves a lot to be desired, but not only are most of its features free, but it's the only app in this category that lets you save your passwords locally on your device, which is something I really appreciate. Then we have a couple of travel apps, and the first one is Flighty, which is a beautifully designed app that lets you keep track of everything related to your flights. It lets you be on top of delays, baggage claim belts, and a whole lot more. And the day you fly, you'll see your flight activity like gate, departure time, and your seat number on your lock screen, the dynamic island, and in the Apple Watch. And then we have Tripsy, and although this app is great, I would never even consider it if I didn't already pay for setup. Tripsy is a travel planner that you can collaborate on. Both me and Vivian have it, and we use it to plan our trips and see everything in one place. It pulls all of our reservations via email and populates everything so we can then start planning individual days. It also works for flights, and in fact it even gives you the same type of alerts as Flighty, but it's more focused on accommodation. All in all, it's a great app that is absolutely not worth the price tag. I have a couple honorable mentions here, which are just 2 apps that I don't really use, but I think are great. So the first one is OneSec, and the fact that I don't use it anymore is probably the biggest compliment I can give it, because the way it works is that it's meant to stop you from mindlessly opening up social media. So you give it an app like Instagram or Twitter and it forces you to wait a few seconds before opening it. You can also customize how many seconds you must wait, from a quick 3-second window to a full minute. I used this for Twitter a while back and I had it set up to wait 20 seconds, and that was so annoying that 9 times out of 10 I would just not open it. Eventually I just stopped using it because I found that I had broken that habit of defaulting to opening Twitter every single time I picked up my phone. To me, this was much more effective than deleting the app, because I would convince myself that I would just re-download it once and delete it right away, but that was never the case. And the other honorable mention is Structured, which is probably the best daily planner I've seen. It allows you to really plan everything you want to do in a day, and it follows a timeline format. But the best feature is the use of natural language, so you can tell it something like, tomorrow I'm gonna wake up at 8, I'm gonna work from 9 to 10:30, walk the dog for another hour, work for another hour, and then I'll eat lunch at 1 p.m. And it's gonna map out your day for you. The reason I put this in the honorable mentions is because although I don't use this myself, I can really see why a lot of people would. These were all the useful apps that I use on my phone, but there's a whole lot more that I use on my Mac, and you can find them in this video right here. So I'll see you there.